Hey guys, welcome back to Super Switch U. Hope you noticed the new artwork backdrop right here. Yes. Yesterday at work, that's where I got this. So I was at Walmart, the one that's on my route, and was going to throw some boxes away into the box crusher, and this was sticking out. It hadn't been crushed. It's like somebody had just put it there. It was like folded in half, but not super bad. Like you can't see the crease from here, but it was just in the box crusher. And the rule for that is it's basically trash if it's in the box crusher. So I grabbed this thing quickly and I ran it out to my car, and here it hangs right on my wall, right there. So um, that's that's my Mario Kart backdrop for a bit. So moving on to the main point of the video, and hopefully we don't get interrupted by Logan again. I'll try to do this quick. Uh, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. I would like to actually do like a real review and not like, hey, I've played it for about 20 minutes and this is what I think. Now I've played it for what is probably been a good few hours. Um, and so I'd like to talk about it and what my actual thoughts for the game are. And yes, I'm saying game and not tech demo instruction manual that should have been free. Um, it's kind of a odd line that this thing falls into, even after playing it extensively. Sorry, I think allergies are coming back. It's been raining quite a bit here recently, and yeah. Anyway, so welcome tour. Initially, I jumped on and I was trying to do a lot of the stuff in the first area before I moved on. I collected all the stamps. Uh, Tried playing the mini games. At least the first round, I didn't have enough medals to do a few of the other ones right off the bat. And like the quizzes and stuff, like I explored everything. I still kind of felt tech demo-y, right? Because the first two games that they let you play, like actual games and not tech demos, is the spaceship one where you're dodging the spike balls, and one where you're using mouse controls and you're trying to find where the strongest vibration is with the HD Rumble, which that very much feels like a tech demo. Especially whenever the one tech demo you can do on the first area, which is the left Joy-Con. I had to think about which side you're actually facing when you start, but yeah, it's the left Joy-Con. But the tech demo is the one with the maracas. They showed that off a few different places. So like you feel the beads moving around, and you can switch it to a giant ball and feel it. It gives off the same vibes when the Find the Rumble minigame. And even after unlocking the second version of that, instead of just going back and forth on a line, you're trying to find it um, just in the larger space up and down and whatever, and then there's false positives. So like it could feel like it's that one, and it could actually be like way over here. So they just do a bunch of different rumbles, and you're trying to find the strongest. Uh, Not much of a game. A little difficult when you're trying to get like both gold medals for that game, and one is like you have to be within 10. I'm gonna say maybe it's pixels that they're measuring it by, but like I mean it's so close to where that's at, and even whenever I find the right vibration, I don't think I've gotten closer than like 15 or 20. So it's difficult. It just doesn't feel like a game. The spaceship one does. Um, for me, it didn't have a lot of replay value. Like you could go for a high score, but after the second gold medal or the third, Like then you're just playing for a score at that point. There's no reward at the end of this thing. So that's just that first area. Uh, and then from there, I wanted to see the rest of it. I was seeing all the stories about you couldn't play the whole thing. You had to have all these different accessories. So I wanted to see all the areas that this thing offered. So I stuck straight to stamp collecting, which is how you progress. You have to get all the stamps in one area, and then you get the gate open for the next one, and you just keep going until you get into like the deepest part of the inside of the Switch. Um, which there was, I don't believe there was any mini games or tech demos on the actual like inner part. There's 3 little stations and like a final quiz that I think brings some stuff together. That was pretty much it for that final like deep spot. Um, but aside from okay, I can't say that you don't need something for a lot of this stuff. You need a camera for certain tech demos and mini games, but you don't need Nintendo's camera. I did do a video on this before, but this was the camera that I used, and it was enough. It was enough to play at least that face mini game. There was another one in the camera area, and uh, haven't gone to that one yet. I'm going back to do a lot of the things I kind of skipped over to get the stamps. Um, but as you progress, it's the left Joy-Con, like the main system, the screen on top of it, which running around on that thing and sliding and stuff and watching your guy fall over, that's almost a game in itself. So, that's something. And then you move on to the right Joy-Con, and then from there to the strap. You don't go to both straps, which is good because it would have felt very repetitive. Because just to walk around this thing, it's so long and tedious, and it feels unnecessary. Like you could have just stayed on the plastic part, and they could have explained the strap, but instead they let you walk all the way along one side of the strap and back to the other, but the other side does not let you back onto the plastic piece. So you have to walk the whole thing back. At least to where the little like button is to adjust it. Which is still a decent ways up there, and that's where the mini game is. Let's see, what is it? Because there really is not much to that strap. There's a tech demo, there's 2 quizzes, and there's 1 mini game. From there, it's the grip. It's the Joy-Con 2 grip. You do that one, and then from there, I believe it's the camera next. You like go down and over to the spot. So there's the camera, and then there's the Pro Controller, which there is I want to say it's a mini game that does actually require at least the back buttons. I have not actually gone in to test it yet, but I'm going to, and I will probably like update you guys in like a random video at some point. But if you had a Switch, this is actually a good example, a Switch 1 controller that has back buttons, I wonder if that would be enough. Because this thing actually like detects it. It says either the Pro Controller or the charging grip, because I guess the charging grip also has the back buttons on it. Which is why I said maybe a Switch 1 controller that had the back buttons, like one of your Power A's or something. I wonder if that would actually be enough to play it. If so, you don't have to spend as much money to do all the things. But so far, I think that's it, honestly. I think it was a camera of some kind that is works well enough with it to play the games, and at least a controller with back buttons, if not specifically the Pro controller or the charging grip. You only need one of these things, from what I could see, because I've like I said, I did all the stamps and got all the way through, and then the tech demos. I did all the tech demos, because this thing like feeds on someone's need to complete stuff, because you can look through the map and it'll tell you like percentage wise what you've done for each of the areas, and it gives a little like crown shaped marker next to each of the things if you finished all the stamps, if you finished all the tech demos, the mini games, and the quizzes. It's the 4 things that they have. And there's just that part of me, that little part of me that's like, I need to see what happens when you do all of it, like 100% this game. So at some point, I feel like I'm going to get to that. I'm going to play this enough to 100% it. But it has not been all of my Switch 2 time. But it has been more spent on Switch 2 Welcome Tour than I thought it would be. And there are some fun games to it. So, like, I could see where somebody could have a good time with Spaceship, because it's kind of neat to move in mouse control. But there's a better game for mouse control in this. I actually really did have fun with this one. You have this little car, and you use the mouse controls back and forth to move it from side to side on the track, avoiding obstacles. But then there are parts where like it's like a sticky mud pit, something like it really slows you down, and there's like just a really narrow track to get through it. So you have to tilt in either direction the Joy-Con 2, and it lifts it up onto one or the other sets of tires, and you go through, and you're still going at the regular speed. I had a lot of fun with that. Like, that was at least worth a fraction of that $10 price point. And then I had mentioned in the camera video the one with the face, the smiley face, and like you move your eyebrows up and down, and your mouth, and it even detects when your tongue is sticking out. And the little face does all the things that your face is doing. It doesn't show you your face, it shows you this face, and it's like you're controlling this. That one's fun. So some of these would be really good to do with other people, even though I think it's honestly just the one person at a time, but you just switch off. But yeah, the face thing would be a really fun party game. The car is fun. You could switch off between people. And there's one that shows off the touchscreen. And there's actually a bit of the touchscreen that I didn't know this did, and it's kind of neat. But apparently it can detect up to like 10 touches at the same time. So there is a mini game that is like Finger Twister, and you'll start with just one finger, and it'll tell you like one of 4 different color circles that are all lined up. And so it'll be like a green circle, and so you put one finger on there, and then a red circle, you put it like way up here, and you just do that up to like 10. You're trying to get all 10 fingers on there without any of them slipping, and if it slips, then you got to start over, and it's a game over. That was fun. Like, it was challenging and probably set off my carpal tunnel a little bit. Just the weird twists that I was doing to try to get it. And I think ultimately I got to 10 cheating a little bit. I had my wife come in, and I was like, hey, put 2 fingers like right there. Okay. And then we got it. But so that was fun. So there's at least like 3 fun mini games. And if you like collecting stuff and completing stuff, this is a good game for you. So, is it worth the $10? Kinda. like I said, I did mention some of the bad, and some of the bad is that yes, you do have to have a controller with the two back buttons, and you have to have some kind of a camera. But again, if you have a camera sitting around that is a USB camera, more than likely, especially if this thing freaking works, you're gonna be just fine, and it's gonna work, and you can play those mini games and do the tech demo, and that's pretty much it, I think, for the camera. But just I don't know, some of the stuff it's neat. Like it's unnecessarily specific on some stuff, like with the strap, that it's not just plastic because it would bend and misshape over time. So they put fiberglass in there, which is like the little shards of glass. It explains how that works, and they didn't want the strap to keep moving around because the little plastic piece on the end might jam up. So they stitched part of it so it couldn't fully go all the way around the loop. And, like, things that I didn't think were an issue, you know? And they thought about these things and they put it into the system and the different bits. And I still can't really tell the difference between frame rates. There is a minigame that is literally just a ball will move across a screen and it'll give you two options of like what was the frame rate, and you've got to see it. In the first set, it's like really far off, but I still sometimes can't see it. And then there are some that are closer together, and it's like, is this 10 or is this 20 frames per second? Which that one's easier to spot. 10 frames per second looks like absolute garbage. But then you get into like 40 or 60, and like I don't know, they look the same. I got bad eyes, you know, like how am I supposed to see this? But yeah, they thought that was a minigame. That felt like a tech demo. But then, yeah, so there's a I think I mentioned this before, but I'll say it again. Like there's a tech demo that is playing World 1-1 of Mario Brothers, like the original Super Mario Brothers. It's so freaking tiny you can't even see it. But they're trying to show that the pixel count on the screen is so much bigger that you could fit the entire World 1-1 on the screen at the same time, and like it maybe takes up like an eighth of the screen. It's like it's neat to see that, I guess, but this is the worst way to play Super Mario Brothers 1-1. But I did it. I went through and I did all the little challenges for the tech demo and got the gold medal and moved on. And I probably won't ever go back because why would I want to do that to myself? So yeah, I mean that's. I feel like I should have some kind of a rating system for this. I don't know. I was trying to look around and see if I had anything. All I got is like a Sonic statue here, but I don't feel like I can duplicate this image that many times to do it. So I don't know. We'll do an out of 5 stars, and I feel like I don't want to sound like I'm going down the middle, but you'll have to excuse me for a minute. Like I don't script these things out, but somewhere between like a 2 and a 3 star. I would almost say 2.5, because 2 sounds so low for it because there are some things that like it really shines with, and so it feels like it's an actual game. And then you go back and you start reading all the information and doing these little quizzes and tech demos, and it's like, oh, well, this doesn't feel like a game. So 3 almost seems too high. So let's do that, right? Let's like 2.5 stars. I don't know what that is. That's a half. That's a half a star. Uh, yeah, about right in between, because that's where I feel like Switch Welcome Tour really fits. It's not the worst thing out there. Like, everybody tried to make this sound like the worst thing, but at the end of the day, you could still have fun with it for $10. You could do worse for $10. I mean, you could go eat at Chick-fil-A and maybe keep it under $10 and regret every life decision you've ever made because of how bad that place is. So, like, there's worse ways to spend $10. There's worse ways to spend a couple hours on a lazy Sunday than just playing through some Welcome Tour and learning a little bit about the console you just spent $500 on. So that's what I give it. 2.5 stars out of 5. It could have, though, if we're being honest, it could have still been packed in, or just a free download if you had any paid online subscription. Like, it could have just been the first tier Nintendo Switch Online. If you're paying for the service, here you can play this game for free on your Switch too. Like, that's... Sorry, Logan just brought his cup over here and spilled something on me. I think it's water, but I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I understand the argument both sides. Let me just put it that way. I'm not going to keep going on and on forever about this. 2.5 stars. That's what I got. I will come back to Mario Kart when I feel like I've done enough. So far, so good, but like it's I'm still collecting my thoughts. I've got one more Grand Prix to go through. I'm still collecting character costumes and characters and figuring out what the question block panels are really doing. But I did figure out the stickers. So, like I said, we'll come back to Mario Kart at a different point. I got to do a lot more with Cyberpunk before I'm ready to talk about that. However, Split Fiction. Had to think of the name of the game. My wife and I have been playing that one a pretty good amount. And so that may be the next Switch 2 title that I review. So just kind of sit tight, and when it pops up, it pops up. So yeah. Let me know what you guys think. If you had a different experience with Switch 2 Welcome Tour, definitely comment that down below. If you think, okay, well, maybe you've changed my mind, I might try it out, definitely let me know. And then let me know how you guys felt after playing it, if you do get it. Anything you want to talk about at all down in the comments, do that. And we will talk about it. So, yeah, hit that like button, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.